All right, welcome to Eyes Open Media. We do have some workers working in the background, so if you hear some thumping noise, that's what's going on. People are working, people are trying to make money. It is the American dream. All right, so it's 11 a.m. 7:15, 2016, July 15th. For those who don't know, what 7:15 is, July 15th. It's supposed to be the day of rage. Remember? I don't know what times those. I mean, I did do a video on that, so you guys want to check out that video. It does show the time zones of when those things are going to be taking place. I hope nothing happens today on that. I hope that everything is just peaceful. As you see in Iraq today, they were protesting. Matter of fact, let me actually go there before we talk about this. Let me see. How would I get over there? Okay, let me go here and let me go. Okay, so there it is. So Sauter did do his demonstration with his millions of people. Okay, and he did talk about the reforms and all the other things that they want to see happen for the country. Um, Let me see here. It says we stand in Tahrir Square and is in order to achieve comprehensive reforms in all state institutions. Okay. Now it's kind of funny because Sauter's not the one who told the whole entire world that he would die for the reforms. Abadi did. And you can see here somebody says, look, I can't believe on that same spot yesterday they were celebrating. Now in a whole different scene. What a shame. So we got one celebration yesterday, and then we got today demonstrations. Okay, so we didn't get the celebrations that we thought we got, right? At least that's what they're telling us. Like, yeah, we don't know, unless we see some video, right? Even the videos could be edited to make it look like it was also. But I believe that they actually was demonstrating. I don't think we saw any type of celebration because they have not launched the economic reforms, and I wouldn't. Why would I expect people to celebrate something that hasn't been launched to them yet? You know what I mean? Or at least launched publicly to them. And Sauter's also making a speech saying that they want the economic reforms. Now, the problem is that Sauter's not the one who said he would die for the economic reforms. Abadi did. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why, it's kind of interesting that this man is now the man that's standing up for the citizens when Abadi is the one who said he would die. He was gonna die for the economic reforms. What happened, Abadi? Why aren't you dying for the economic reforms any longer? You know, um, as you see here, thousands deny ban to protest against corruption. Now, Abadi and them said, don't do this, don't come out here and do all this protesting. Well, why not? You told me you were gonna die for the reforms. And that was in September. So Abadi saying he was gonna die for the reforms and then told the citizens uh early July that right after Eid we're gonna launch the reforms. And then nothing. Okay? So this tells me that the IMF is going to probably have to announce it to the world themselves. Because Iraq's government doesn't want to do it. Iraq's government does not. Iraq's government has made a deal that they want to stay status quo as long as they can. Okay, I don't care if there's a time frame. I don't care what it is. These people don't care about nothing. They don't care about the world. They don't care about the contracts they've signed with the world. They don't care about rejoining the global market because they don't want to rejoin the global markets. Uh, they don't want to give people purchasing power because they call them peasants. You want to anybody you call a peasant? Do you really want to give purchasing power to? Okay, so they can start buying guns online and go travel and maybe get a hitman to take you out because you've been stealing their money for years. You think about it. They call these people peasants. You think they want to give them purchasing power? So my thing is that the IMF, because the IMF has the power to continue to have this currency pegged, they also have the power to remove all restrictions. That's just me. Okay, that's my opinion. If the IMF says no dinar devaluation, so the IMF has the power to say no dinar devaluation. So you would think, and this is an article from today. So the IMF has the power to say no dinar devaluation. You don't think they don't have the power to say a revaluation? You know what I mean? So, and they also have the power to say that they committed to the dollar peg. So the IMF is telling the world that they have the power because of the contracts they've signed. Okay, so or they wouldn't be saying this stuff this blatant. Okay, no dinar devaluation. Wait a minute, IMF, you're not the central bank of Iraq. You're not the prime minister. How can you tell a country that they can't devalue and what they can and cannot do? So this tells me right here that the IMF has the power to remove the restrictions and tell the world that Iraq's back on the global market economy, regardless if Iraq likes it or not. Okay, this is telling us that they have the power to do it. And whenever that time is, that time frame they've given them a body to do it, whatever time frame they've given a body to become a hero and a legend, once that time frame is up and a body says, you know, I don't want to be a legend and a hero, I want to stay corrupted. Okay, the IMF will then come in and announce it to the world and say we have removed all restrictions off the dinar and it is now a market driven rate. Remember they just did that with Vietnam. Vietnam is a market driven rate. Remember Vietnam went from a fixed rate to a market driven 3% up and down managed float. They can easily, IMF can also come out and say Iraq is now has changed their program rate into a market driven rate. Okay, which would explode this to 1-to-1 value, okay, and then explode it to 3 plus, right? Like 5 to 10 business days after. So the IMF is telling us they have the power to hold the dinar from not devaluating, and then they have the power to keep the dinar committed to the US dollar and pay to the US dollar. That tells us that they also have the power to remove all restrictions. Of course, they probably tell Dr. Shabibi to do it because it's his mechanism. So they'll tell Dr. Shabibi, get in there and get this thing done. They'll probably guard him with, 60 U.S. troops and coalition forces and have him go in there and do what they have to do. And that's, without the finance committee's approval, without the GOI's approval, without a body's approval, because they don't need it anymore. As they told you, they already gave them the first batch of loans, the 600 million, and they need to remove the restrictions off their currency to get the rest of the money. So that tells you that the body and this finance committee and the CBI has signed on to returning to the global market economy, or the IMF wouldn't have gave them the money. Because they signed on and they completed all the things, the only thing left is removing the restrictions and lifting the value. And then the IMF gave them $600 million to bridge their budget. That tells us that the IMF now has the power to tell the world that Iraq, at any day now or any time, they can tell the world that Iraq restrictions of all of Iraq's current currency is removed, and Iraq is now no longer in a program rate, but is now an Article 8 compliance market driven rate. They can say that they did that with Vietnam. They can do that with Iraq. Okay, so and I think that's one of the reasons why they gave them the 600 million, because Iraq signed over the IMF power to be able to control the dinar. Okay, of course the Shabibi's gonna have to do the mechanism, but the IMF now has the power to tell people, the world, that there's no devaluation coming. And also, so that takes up that's half the gurus right there are gone. Okay, so IMF, no dinar devaluation. Okay, so there's no dinar devaluation coming. So so half the gurus that have been telling you guys that there's more devaluations coming for the second half, they're out the way. So they don't have they shouldn't even have a job any longer. Okay, and then but everybody makes mistakes. What we've made mistakes. We've said things that didn't come true as well. But we said a lot of things that have. But we did say some things that didn't come true as well. So everybody gets a second chance. Okay, uh, everybody makes mistakes. This is an investment that changes all the time. Okay, but anyways, so it also says committed to the U.S. dollar, so they're gonna stay pegged to the U.S. dollar regardless if they raised while they're raising the rates, while they lifted the value, they're gonna stay pegged to the U.S. dollar. I believe that's gonna change. I believe that they're gonna change over to the SDRs, and that could be maybe early next year or something like that. But for right now, the dollar is at 96, so there's no reason to not peg to the dollar. Okay, so until the dollar drops to maybe under 85, then you can probably go to the peg to the SDRs from there. Okay, so this is telling us that this is giving us a sign here that the IMF has the power to not devalue the currency, also has the power to keep it pegged to a certain currency. That means they should put a comma here, and they also should put revaluation coming soon. Okay, because they're telling us that they have the power to revalue this currency. Okay, not the CBI, not a body, the finance committee. The IMF has the power because of the contracts that were signed and because of the 600 million that they gave them. They have the power to not devalue, keep it pegged, and they also have the power to revalue the currency. Meaning, remove all make the announcement to the globe about it, and then Dr. Jabibi will do the mechanism. Okay, so they're not like the IMF's going to go in there and do it. Dr. Shabibi will do it. Will remove his mechanism, manipulate his own mechanism. But the IMF has the power to announce it to the whole entire world that the restrictions of this currency is now over, and that they are now the market-driven currency. Okay, so they did it with Vietnam. Okay, so they can do it with Iraq. Okay, so yeah, I think that is it. Let me see here. Anybody have any questions here? Way that is people. I don't know what that means. RV. I don't know where you get RV. People connect RV with everything, don't they? Okay. Somebody says good news. I think I think I think it puts the IMF in a position, as we saw today. They came out today with the statements. I think it puts them in a position to say we're going to save Iraq from itself. And I think that's probably one. Maybe that's why they wanted control over the Iraq's finances for the next year, or I think it's until November maybe, because they want to save Iraq from itself. Okay, IMF has trillions of dollars invested in this country over the last 12, 13 years. So they have way more to lose than we do. We just lost. We lose time, and we can always exchange it back, right? But they would lose trillions of dollars and time. So what they could say is, we're removing the restrictions off the currency. Iraq is now entering the global market economy, and is now on a market-driven currency. They could say that at any time. You know why? Because they can save Iraq from Iraq. Okay, and because they have trillions of dollars to lose. Okay, so IMF, if you're listening right now, go ahead and save this country from itself, because you have trillions of dollars on the line, and years of investing in this country. Do not allow this country to implode on itself when you have the power, and you have the power from the contracts they've signed to to save this country from itself, and to remove all restrictions off that currency, because this is all these people want, is that removal of the restrictions off this currency and the lower notes. That's it, and the purchasing power. So IMF, go ahead and do what you got to do, and get your money back, because the IMF wants their money back. Okay, the IMF wants their money back plus interest. Okay, and they're gonna get it back once they announced that Iraq has removed all restrictions and is now on a market-driven rate, IMF will get all their money back. Citizens will be happy and celebrating as well. So that's it for me. Talk to you guys later. Okay, see you guys on the main channel for the news report for today. Okay, so God bless. Talk to you guys later, and eyes open.